Hello everyone and welcome to Plot Twists. So today we're going to be doing a TierMaker video for all of the Disney Twisted Tales novels. If you're not familiar with this series, it is basically a series of Disney-based novels that takes the original animated Disney movie and puts some twist on the particular story, which changes basically everything else. So as we go through these, we'll talk more about them. I am going to start with the 3 books in this particular series that I haven't yet read. And those are Mirror, Mirror, which is the Snow White Twisted Tale, On Birthday, which is the Alice in Wonderland Twisted Tale, and I also included What Was Once Mine on this particular template. This book hasn't come out yet, but it's basically future-proofing so other people could use this. So these 3 I haven't quite read yet. So we're going to start with the Aladdin Twisted Tale, which is called A Whole New World. The twist on the original tale is, what if Aladdin never found the lamp? In general, this is probably my least favorite of all the Twisted Tales that I've read so far. And not that Aladdin is one of my least favorite Disney movies by any means. But there was just something about the story that was honestly difficult to get through. The story felt pretty lackluster. It was more predictable than I would say even the rest of the books in the series. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I had pretty high hopes for it and it fell flat. I don't know. But either way, I would not read this one twice. The next one we're going to talk about is the Beauty and the Beast Twisted Tale, called As Old as Time. The concept behind this is, what if Belle's mother cursed the Beast? I thought this was an excellent twist on the original story. This is definitely one of my favorites. It even relates somewhat to the live-action Beauty and the Beast movie that was made a couple years ago, in terms of what we saw there from Belle's mother and kind of continuing on with that. I think this is a great place to start if you're looking for a Twisted Tale that's based on a Disney movie that we've all seen. This one's a good one. The next one that we're going to talk about is the Sleeping Beauty Twisted Tale, which is called Once Upon a Dream. The concept is, what if Sleeping Beauty never woke up? I think this is probably top-notch. One of my absolute favorites of this series. This particular book picks up with Philip kissing Aurora and nothing happens. And what happens from the story there on out is completely different and really well written, really an excellent take on the story. Probably one of the most differing from the original story. I'm also particularly partial to Sleeping Beauty, and I'm sure that impacted my opinions of this particular book. Either way, though, I think it's excellent. The next one that we're going to talk about is the Mulan Twisted Tale, called Reflection. The concept is, what if Mulan had to travel to the underworld? When I first picked this book up, I thought maybe this was going to be a Mulan Hercules crossover book. That's not the case at all, though. This book actually interprets the underworld based on Chinese lore, from my understanding, and it was such an interesting take on this particular story. This book takes place after a battle between Captain Shang and Shan Yu. Captain Shang is mortally wounded, and he dies and is sent to the underworld. And this particular book takes place with Mulan trying to save him. Again, I really enjoyed the lore in it. I like that it relates back to Chinese culture and heritage. And some of the things that were included were really interesting. This is definitely one of the better takes on a Twisted Tale, and actually I think that's the correct order. It was definitely one of my favorites. The next Twisted Tale we're going to talk about is the Frozen Twisted Tale, Conceal Don't Feel. The concept behind this one is, what if Anna and Elsa never knew each other? This one was okay. The things that I liked is that even though the story was very different, it still had a lot of the same key points in it. For example, there's a lot of different quotes from the movie that still fall into place where they were supposed to. But in general, I don't feel like this deviated as much from the original tale as most of them, and for that reason, I found it pretty boring, to be honest. It was okay, you know. Yeah. The next Twisted Tale we're going to talk about is the Little Mermaid Twisted Tale, Part of Your World. The concept behind this one is, what if Ariel never defeated Ursula? This take was maybe not that good. There. This take was really interesting. The Little Mermaid is actually one of my least favorite animated Disney movies, probably a controversial take, but it is what it is. I typically find Ariel pretty annoying. I don't think her motives are reasonable. There's just so much of the story that is like watching a teenage girl. And as a result, I didn't have high expectations for this book at all. However, the Ariel of this story is much more mature. She's been aged by being stuck in the sea without her father as the new ruler of Atlantia, and naturally, there's a lot of things missing. It's not the same place that we knew. I like where this story goes, though, because it continues on with the idea that Ariel is still trying to, you know, find her father and save him, and it does work Eric into the story in a pretty interesting take, and it's definitely a huge deviation from the original story. Also because it kind of picks up where the story left off with a slight change at the end. In general, though, this is one of my favorites as well. The next one that we're going to talk about is the Cinderella Twisted Tale, So This Is Love. The concept behind this one is, what if Cinderella never tried on the glass slipper? This was a really interesting Cinderella take. It does still have a lot of things that, you know, kind of go along with the original story. There's still a ball. There's still, you know, the typical things. But Cinderella in this particular story is actually a handmaiden in the castle, which is how she sees the prince again. There are some pretty interesting characters that are added to this, including the king's sister. Overall, this was a good take. I would say it was not one of the best. There wasn't anything about it that really wowed me, but it was definitely a good, interesting take on it, and I was definitely enthralled in reading to the end. The next one that we're going to talk about is the Peter Pan Twisted Tale, Straight On Till Morning. The concept is, what if Wendy first traveled to Neverland with Captain Hook? So basically where this story picks up, Peter Pan's shadow has been in the Darling household for 5 or 6 years now. Wendy is now 16, and she is all but given up on finding Neverland until something happens at home and she's being really forced to grow up in a pretty intense way. So out of desperation, she trades Peter Pan's shadow to Captain Hook to get to Neverland, and the story picks up from there. This is actually, I think, my favorite Disney Twisted Tale. Of all of the things that they added and changed, some things that I thought were really interesting. Peter Pan is mostly not even present in this story. He's present for a little bit towards the end, but for the most part, you don't even see him. What is really prevalent in the story is the relationship that develops between Tinkerbell and Wendy, and how wonderful that is to watch develop. Of course, they start by being not super friendly with each other, and by the end, they are, you know, best buds. I also really liked how this book worked in a lot of the Pixie Hollow lore, which obviously wasn't present when the original movie was made, but it seems like with these books, a lot of them are trying to include things that have been added to the lore over the years, and the addition of the Pixie Hollow stuff I really, really appreciated. It's just fantastic, and I highly recommend you pick it up. And the last one that we're going to talk about today is the Hercules Twisted Tale Go the Distance. The concept behind this one is, what if Meg had to become a Greek god? So this book picks up right after Hercules has become a god, and he tries to give his famous line of, life without Meg is not worth living, and how he wants to become mortal again. And Zeus goes, nah, that's not okay. So, this book is about Meg's journey to become a Greek god so she can be with Hercules and Olympus. Initially, there's something that initially struck me as really irritating reading this particular book. So, if you think about Hercules' trials, they're all about, you know, fighting and strength and becoming strong and a true hero and etc., etc., etc. And the tasks that Meg are given is basically to repair things with the scorned lover that that from the story she trades her soul for, and ends up in the underworld to help Hades. So initially that I found that really frustrating, and I didn't think I was going to like this book very much. But as the story goes on and it kind of develops and changes, and you see kind of why that's the presentation they decided with, this definitely became one of the top books in my particular opinion. I really enjoyed getting to see more Meg. Meg is my favorite Disney character of all time. The way that she was portrayed, I felt, was very appropriate. There's more Philoctetes, there's more Pegasus, there are, there's actually an inclusion of more of the Greek gods, which is really, really enjoyable. There's a whole section with Persephone, and if you know anything about Greek mythology, Persephone and Hades have a really interesting relationship, and so that was touched upon. Demeter is also slightly present in this story, basically to relate to the Persephone portion, but Athena is also super present in this story in a multitude of ways, as well as getting more Aphrodite. Overall, I really enjoyed this book. It is the newest one that I've read, and while I wish some things were different, overall I really enjoyed the story. So I think for now, this is my final tier ranking of the Twisted Tales novels I've read so far. I'm looking forward to getting to the two that I have not read yet, both of which are on my shelves. I just haven't made it that far. And then I am super excited for the new Twisted Tale that is coming out. What Once Was Mine is based on Tangled and the story of Rapunzel, and the twist on the story is, what if Rapunzel's mom drank a potion from the wrong flower? And that sounds so interesting. I can't wait to see kind of sort of where that takes the story. Thank you guys for watching today. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. I do have a couple more TierMaker videos planned in the future. Just have a couple more books I need to read before I can do them. But in general, I really enjoy doing them, and I hope you guys do too. I will see you guys again soon. Bye!